They say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And when a court hands you a 2-year conviction, turn it into a political rallying point. Well, that definitely seems to be the learning for Congress party and Rahul Gandhi. Court appeals and legal processes are usually dull affairs, handled by the legal team. It is not necessary for the defendant to go in person to file an appeal. But Rahul Gandhi made it a point to travel to Surat today and hand in an appeal to a conviction of 2 years for defamation by a Surat court on the 23rd of March. He didn't go alone. He was accompanied by Sister Priyanka Gandhi, the top brass of the Congress leadership, and even the chief ministers of Rajasthan, Himachal and Chhattisgarh. In case there was any doubt on whether this was a political message, it was cleared when Mr. Gandhi tweeted, "This is a fight to save democracy against Mitrakal. Truth is my weapon and truth is my support." The BJP responded by saying this is a pressure tactic.
My take on this issue is very clear. This is not the first time that a politician is convicted of a crime. When Narasimha Rao, former Prime Minister of the Congress party, was convicted, did Congress party raise this kind of hue and cry and then put pressure on the judiciary? Never. Even Chidambaram recently went to jail. Did Congress went around shouting like this and putting pressure on the court? Never. The basic issue is Congress party treats one family, one leader from a family as a person above the country.
हमें पूरा भरोसा है कि यहीं हमको न्याय मिलेगा और न्याय मिल जाएगा और 13 तारीख को इस सारे प्रकरण का पटाक्षेप हो जाएगा। हम न्याय के दरवाजे पे हैं, हमें पूरा भरोसा है न्यायपालिका पर। भाजपा को जो है जैसे उनको ख्वाब में भी जो है छिछड़े ही नज़र आते हैं और उनको कांग्रेस की हर बात में ये लोगों का अपना प्यार है। हम लोगों को कोई लाया थोड़ी, हम अपने प्यार से यहाँ आए, अपने नेता के साथ आए।
पिछड़े का अपमान नहीं सहेगा हिंदुस्तान। राहुल गांधी जी ने एक बार नहीं बार बार पिछड़ों का अपमान करने का काम किया है और दुख इस बात का है उसके बाद भी कांग्रेस पार्टी ने माफी मांगना तो दूर दबाव बनाने का काम करते हैं, डराने का काम करते हैं। जब 3 वर्ष थे तब तो इनके साथ कोई नहीं गया। अब राज्य के मुख्यमंत्रियों को काम छुड़ाकर इस काम पे लगाया है। मेरा एक सवाल और है, पूर्व में नरसिम्हा राव जी थे, पी चिदम्बरम जी थे, डी शिव कुमार जी थे, इन सबको भी जेल जाना पड़ा, इस्तीफे देने पड़े। तब कितने कांग्रेस के लोग साथ में गए थे? क्या एक परिवार संविधान से बड़ा हो गया?
Now, while the political showmanship around the appeal is very clear, the legal appeal itself is a 45-page document listing 81 grounds why the conviction of Rahul Gandhi for defamation should be overturned. We're breaking down some of the key ones for you very quickly. Number 1, it says the judgment is erroneous, patently perverse and bad in law. It says the complaint itself is politically motivated. The complainant, that is Mr. Purnesh Modi, in their view, is not an aggrieved person and has no right to complain. It goes on to argue that the Modi Samaj is not a well-defined, identifiable or definite community that would have been defamed by Rahul Gandhi's statements. They also evoke a legal idea which says that there was no intention to harm while making the statement. They also say that the punishment inflicted is harsh and highly excessive in terms of 2 years of imprisonment, and the witness evidence which has been submitted is not believable. Documents on record are not proper. They go on to say that the process that needs to be followed for a speech made in a different jurisdiction was not, because the speech was made in Kolar, Karnataka, and this complaint was followed its legal process in Surat. They also claim it was not proven that the statement was actually made. The legal proof has not been submitted correctly. And Rahul Gandhi's position as opposition, as member of Parliament should have been taken into account. Now, we'll of course have to wait and see what happens judicially with that appeal process, but there's little doubt that it's already turned into a political slugfest. Dharinder Tayal of the BJP joining me today on the show. Karan Verma, author, speaking with me today, as is Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, and Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us. I want to start with Sanjay Hegde because, you know, we've been asking the Congress leaders this question over the last few days. What's taking you so long? And they kept saying that first we have to read the entire High Court, the Surat Court verdict, which was in Gujarati. We need to translate it. We need to understand it. We assume their top legal minds have been put into place on this, and they've come back with 81 grounds. What do you think is the reason that they have taken so long, and the final product of it? Do you think it shows all of that effort?
Well, yeah, they would obviously want to be better safe than sorry. So it does seem to me that the draft itself must have gone through several senior advocates. There would have been suggestions from several people. So I don't. They had 30 days to file an appeal. They've done it in about 2 weeks, which included a translation of the Gujarati original. So I would not attribute anything than the normal process of a complete legal and forensic examination by a host of lawyers.
Okay. Tehseen Poonawalla, in terms of the optics of what we've seen today, the BJP says it was an effort to apply pressure to the judiciary. Why did Rahul Gandhi have to go himself to file an appeal? Why did he have to go with the top brass of the Congress and the entourage? Do you think that they're trying to make political hay out of this legal case?
Good evening, Tamanna. Good evening to you, to all your viewers, and to my fellow panelists. The most honorable law minister who talks more and acts less should explain to this country on three specific questions. Is submitting yourself to the majesty of the law pressurizing the judiciary, or is the sitting union law minister saying some ex-Supreme Court judges are anti-national, pressurizing the judiciary? I leave that for your viewers. It's a rhetorical question, but your viewers are smart enough to understand. Second point, since there's somebody from the BJP on this show, and Sanjay ji, who I have a lot of respect for, and Karan, can anyone point out a single law Shri Rahul Gandhi ji broke today while going in a courtroom and submitting himself
to the majesty
that's
not the
court?
question. It's not that he is legally barred from going. That wasn't my question. My question is, what is he trying to prove? It's clear this is political drama. This is high political drama.
Grateful for that question. Tamanna, I always say one thing. One is either pregnant or not pregnant. You can't be half pregnant. So Shri Rahul Gandhi did not break a law. So the law minister should not be commenting on it. Now the law minister says it's drama, it's pressure on the judiciary. May I remind the BJP spokesperson very humbly on your show, and the law minister of India, when Shri Arun Jaitley ji submitted himself to the majesty of the court and went with Smriti Irani ji, Rathore ji, and a host of BJP MPs, was he pressurizing the judiciary? Is the judiciary in India so weak that a magistrate will get pressurized because a citizen of India has come to appeal before the magistrate? And can the magistrate, doesn't the law minister and the BJP have faith in the independence of the judiciary? If the magistrate would have felt even one bit threatened, he would have shut the court.
But again, for the third time, Tehseen, that is not my question. Whether he felt threatened or what Kiran Rijiju said was correct.
But he did not.
You are evading it. What was the need for all this political halla gulla teesri baar? I'm asking
What is the need, Tamanna, if I tomorrow have to be submitted to court and under this government very soon in Amrit Kal, which is Amrit Kal I would be, what is the need that my loved ones don't come with me? Why should my supporters not come with me? I would definitely like Karan to come with me. What law prevents me?
Karan, will you go with him?
And my sister.
Well, Shehzad come with
so
Shehzad will come, but he will prosecute me. He will prosecute me.
Tehseen, you walked into that one.
But he will prosecute me. But the point is that if I'm going with my loved ones and my supporters, as long as it's within the law, what is wrong? I don't understand. The BJP says Rahul Gandhi is irrelevant.
So
they say he's of no consequence.
I asked Tehseen why. His reply is why not. His reply is why not. Essentially, I asked him why did he go, why all this halla gulla. He's saying why not. Even I will take my entourage. It depends on how much support you actually command. Karan Verma, I started by saying if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. They've been handed this 2-year lemon. They're squeezing it for all it's worth. For those who say the Congress has forgotten how to play politics, they've remembered.
Tamanna, unfortunately for Congress, and that's their tragedy, they're squeezing it, but nothing's coming out of it. They do things for political mileage, but alas, they don't even get any mileage out of it. Because the public today, the citizens of this country are smart enough to look through a phony act. My friend Tehseen rightly said, why not? Fine, why not? But it doesn't make good political sense. Here is a convict who's coming out waving to the people as if he's done a heroic deed. And three chief ministers have left their work and they've flown down to be with him. So people look through this and realize that, hang on, here is a convict. What is he so happy about? What is he so elated about? Why are we all marching in some sort of celebration? It just doesn't add up. And when Tehseen gives an example of Mr. late Arun Jaitley had gone to file a complaint, a defamation case against Kejriwal. He was not a convict. None of those people were convicts. When you are convicted by court, the first thing you should do is show some humility.
No. So are you saying, Karan Verma, are you saying you expected Rahul Gandhi to come out of his house, head hanging in shame, and say that I've done a terrible thing and forget that he's a politician? He's saying, I'm an opposition leader. This is a threat to democracy. Forget about his charge. He's saying this is an attack on democracy, not even himself.
I would have never expected that from Rahul Gandhi, and Rahul Gandhi has completely lived up to my expectations, Tamanna. But when he says this is an attack on democracy, what he's trying to imply is that somewhere the judiciary is affected by the Modi government. That is what he's trying to imply, whether he says it explicitly or not. That is what he's trying to imply. And I think that's a very sad statement and a sad commentary to make. Because all said and done, our judiciary has been independent. The same judiciary has given him bail in the National Herald. And this is not the first time Rahul Gandhi has done that. He has this sense of entitlement, Tamanna. Last year, when he had to come before the ED for an investigation, his supporters have hit the streets running. They were protesting on the streets. For what? You are presenting yourself for an investigation. Compare that to Mr. Modi. R.K. Raghavan writes that in his book, A Road Well Travelled. How Mr. Modi, in the most humble way, as the sitting chief minister, submitted himself to the rigors of investigation when he came for the SIT. So I think it's expecting too much from Rahul Gandhi, but he should show some humility and probably offer an unconditional apology. Nobody becomes smaller intentionally or unintentionally if his
He's fighting this in court. So the apology ship has sailed. Yes, Sanjay Hegde wants to come in. He's fighting this in court, so the apology ship has sailed. You know what is interesting in this, Sanjay Hegde? His showing up is now being construed as pressure on the judiciary. There were allusions being made, or, there were sort of subtle hints being given about the process in which this conviction was being handed down in the first place from the Congress. They have been, alleging that there's pressure on the judiciary. So what is going on as far as the judiciary is concerned? And why are politicians now using the judicial process as a political ploy?
Well, politicians have used the judicial process for politics by other means. That's not been unknown in this country. It's not been unknown among our neighbors. And when you are prosecuted, to turn the courtroom against your prosecutors has also been part of the political process. One of the great things that a lot of people respect George Fernandez for was that despite being implicated in the Baroda dynamite case, with being there in handcuffs, he told the magistrate, "For we were men, we at least stood up." So there, if you remember Bhagat Singh's statement during his trial, he said to make the deaf hear. So don't worry. If you bring a politician into a court, he will do politics inside court as well. But the court process proceeds irrespective of the politics. The court process goes solely by the law, solely by what is before it. and what if it is a trial, by the evidence led, if it is an appeal, by the judgment of the trial court. And as far as entourages are concerned, when I used to file my matters, that's before I became a senior advocate, there were even clients who said, please file this appeal at 10:37, and my astrologer and my Babaji will come into the registry to bless the thing. So every person who is having his day in court will have his attendants, will have so many other people.
Okay.
You can't create a victim narrative
You
one way or the other.
Something new every time you speak to Sanjay Hegde. Now I've learned that, मुहूर्त निकलता है कोर्ट जाने के लिए, and बाबा जी भी आते हैं साथ में.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Just to finish, I've even had a client who wanted his Babaji inside the courtroom so that he could pray for him while the lawyers argue.
Okay. So why this
Sanjay values me
narrative,
as a
Dharinder
client.
Tayal? Why this narrative? Why this narrative as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned? He, as an Indian citizen, has a right to appeal in the court of law and follow the judicial process, doesn't he? He has the right to appeal. He has the right to have people go along with him. Why now this narrative or these statements saying that these are pressure tactics, that, the court is being pressurized, etc.?
So is that to me?
Yes,
Tamanna?
yes, Mr. Tayal.
Okay. So, first of all, I'd like to thank Tehseen. He's done a fantastic job of finishing not just this debate, but the entire debate in the country forever. Now, what he is saying is that whatever has happened today has happened absolutely within the ambit of law. And I agree with him. So he says, what is there to talk about? So let us also understand that whatever the conviction has happened, whatever has happened completely within the ambit of law. So what is the hue and cry about? Why this thing that I'm being victimized? The age-old Congress ploy of playing the victim card. My entitlement has been taken away. I am a dynast. It shouldn't have happened to me. Why that? Whatever happened followed the due process of law. So, and the second point I want to make here is that he has been contradicted by Congress themselves, who have said, I quote, that Congress will fight this both politically and legally. Now, how do you fight a conviction politically? Legally, yes. But how do you fight it politically? What are we talking about? That is exactly what is happening. Now, let us just connect the dots on what this is all about. And you were dead right when you said that they're trying to make a lemonade out of it, howsoever unsuccessfully. So the basic idea is Rahul Gandhi's ratings were single digit. Congress was losing elections after elections. He tried to project himself to the center stage of opposition. The opposition booted him out. They said, we don't need you. Congress is not required. We'll see who's going to be center stage. Somewhere relevance was missing. Now, and at the same time, somebody has taken over as the president of a private limited company.
Okay.
So the complete relevance is at stake. So here comes a lemon, which somehow a desperate attempt to make lemonade out of. That is why a 10-day delay, whatever may have been said by the honorable...
No, but my question to you, Dharinder Tayal, is why not?
But the
why
fact
not?
remains,
Is this the first time in Indian political history that something that would be looked at as a setback has been turned around? Why not?
No, fair enough. Fair enough. But let us admit that is what we are doing. Why the facade of it is due process of law? Why the facade?
But that's because at the end of the day, he is trying to make the point. And if you look at that appeals, if you look at the petition today and the 81 grounds that they've laid out, it's very clear that they're trying to make a point that Rahul Gandhi was speaking in a position as an opposition leader and is criticizing the government of the day, now equal to defamation. So that is the point they're trying to make, which is why they're linking it to an attack on democracy.
Tamanna, where does the government of the day come in? You have you have criticized or you have spoken ill of an entire community. So it has nothing to do with the government. This is something they have also said, I am being punished or I have been sentenced for speaking the truth. Is he saying what he said was the truth about the Modi community? Is he still maintaining that?
Which is
so
okay.
Let us not continue to play the...
1 minute. Tehseen, very quickly. It is, you know, the way the BJP is positioning it, it is an attack on the Modi community. They're saying it's an attack on OBCs. And Rahul Gandhi should have apologized. Yes.
So, Tamanna, 3 or 4 things I just beg your indulgence. If the case of the BJP representative that Sri Lalit Bhai Modi or Nirav Bhai Modi are OBC fellow citizens of ours, I think this is the biggest insult to the OBC citizens. Lalit Bhai Modi and Nirav Bhai Modi are not OBCs, and it is they who escaped under the government of Dharinder Tayal Modi. And I think calling that out is not an insult to the OBC community simply because they're not OBC fellow citizens. That's point number 1. Point number 2, we've spoken a lot about lemon and lemonade. And that's where we are. Sir, may I? I've been always interrupting the show. May I? When life gives you lemons, instead of making lemonade, take the seeds, plant it in the soil and grow an orchard and help and create employment. So I think the Congress is doing something. Please understand, Rahul Gandhi comes from a Congress party where Tilak was told that you are guilty and you are going to charge you with sedition. And he said, Swaraj is my birthright, I should have it. He fought in court where Gandhi was told 5 Anna is your bail. And Gandhi said, I refuse to accept the bail. Fighting something is a moral duty, and that's what Rahul Gandhi is doing. Point number 3, until yesterday on every TV show, BJP would come and say, why is Rahul Gandhi not going to court? Why is he not going to court? The Honorable Home Minister said it. Now the BJP is saying, why is he gone to court? Why is he gone to court?
No, the question was why is lawyers taking so much time? The conspiracy theory was, is Rahul Gandhi been abandoned? But no one was expecting him to go himself.
Now that Rahul Gandhi filed a comprehensive appeal, the BJP is clearly rattled. So taking the lemon analogy further, he's taken the lemon and squeezed the juice into your eyes. So you're clearly rattled, which explains why the whole day the BJP is going about attacking him. But one last point.
I'm really regretting starting off this lemonade story.
Just one last point on the lemon, not on the lemon thing. Sanjay will bear testimony and for your viewers to know that I perhaps am his best client because I throw no tantrums and Sanjay represents me in court. So you should be like me.
But will Shehzad come with you? That's the question of the day. As his best. Anyway, on an aside, I think we've stretched that lemonade analogy till it's gone completely sour. But coming to a serious question about what the outcome over here is. And for this, I want to just play out an excerpt of an interview I did over the weekend with Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Congress leader and top lawyer. And I asked him that what does this whole situation mean for opposition unity? Because what we saw over the last few days is opposition parties galvanizing around the Congress, even those who did not want to have truck with them, coming out in support. And I just want to play out for you what he said.
So we should thank Mr. Modi for achieving what to some extent we could not, namely a far greater convergence of opposition unity than existed before Mr. Modi and its government's one-sided biased actions.
Okay, we should thank Mr. Modi for achieving what we perhaps could not. It was an interview I did with him on the 1st of April. You know, Karan Verma, I want to start with your comment on this. And the fact is that even the Aam Aadmi Party, even the TMC, opposition parties that were not too keen on, putting themselves in the same grouping as the Congress have come together and very, very strongly criticized the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi, the way that court case took place, and all of it. Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi saying we should thank Mr. Modi. Will this be that pivot?
Tamanna, Mr. Modi's political acumen is far ahead of all of them in the sense that Mr. Modi loves it when it's Modi versus all. That sort of narrative is always going to gravitate in favor of Mr. Modi. The only thing that the opposition probably should come up with if they really want to counter Mr. Modi is, what is their narrative? What is their plan? What is their offering to the people of this country? Until and unless they don't come up with this, they will always manage to cobble up some alliance or the other, but people will look through it. Today, when K. Kavita's name comes up from the BRS, the Congress party, Ajay Makan says, yes, a liquor scam happened. So, I mean, there are fissures all across. We saw what happened between TMC and Congress in Meghalaya. They were ready to come to blows with each other. So this opposition unity is always going to remain a farce. And even if it comes up for the sake of an election, people are smart enough to know it's coming up for an election. They can't govern for nuts. They don't have a plan.
Okay.
Just by changing your name from TRS to BRS doesn't mean you have a foreign policy plan or a defense plan in place. You have to eventually come up in front of the people with a plan.
All that is known, that they will have to come with a plan, they have to give an alternative, but you know, there is something such as arithmetic in politics as well. And the fact is that a fractured opposition helps the BJP. Yes, Sanjay Hegde wants to come in. Yes.
You see, I'm rather old. I still have memories of the emergency as a 10-year-old. And its aftermath. And one of the biggest mistakes that Mrs. Gandhi did was to lock everybody up, including Arun Jaitley, in Tihar jail. There is nothing that so unites a set of disparate politicians as a common, overarching, overambitious, overbearing center. So at that point of time, with barely three months of notice, the Janata Party was stitched together, which included the then Jan Sangh, which was the BJP, which is now the BJP, and the Socialists, and the Lok Dal, and the Congress for Democracy, which came out. When a government gets overbearing, when the message is of fear, there are times that the people say, let us throw out fear. That is what the center seems to really understand, and maybe it has also understood that it has chewed off slightly more than it can chew.
Mr. Tayal, your response to that? Galvanizing of the opposition who are now saying that we may have our differences in various states, in different constituencies, maybe everyone's in the fight to become PM candidate, etc., etc. But if we're all going to be behind bars, we might as well fight it out together.
No, but the statement of Mr. Hegde is rather interesting. I mean, the adjectives that he's used about the central government being overbearing and this chewing more, biting more than it can chew. Over what? Where is the central government in this? There is a criminal who has committed a crime. The court has sentenced him. All of us have said we have faith in the judiciary. Where is the central government, overbearing central government that we're talking about? So suddenly, if a court punishes a criminal, if suddenly the court punishes a criminal or sentences a criminal, it is the central government because this criminal is a dynast. He's not to be touched. Actually, he's the one who's galvanized, Teflon coated. What are we talking about?
Okay,
it's rather surprising. And what is the let me complete, Mr. Hegde. I heard you out.
Look.
So what is the appeal that has been filed? The crux of the appeal is, and as said by the advocate of Mr. Gandhi, that we are fighting this on procedural lapses. He has used these words that we are fighting this on procedural lapses, which means there is no merit that is available with us. Now we want to get with our battery of famed lawyers, much sought out lawyers, we want to get into the legalese and say, okay, the procedure was not followed. There was a flaw here. There was a flaw here. So kindly let this criminal go.
No, what are you, 1 minute, Mr. Tayal, 1 minute. What are you referring to when you, what are you referring to? You say only procedural lapses. Are you referring to this particular defamation case?
Yes.
No. They're not fighting it only on procedural lapses.
Yes,
I've taken the pains of reading those 81 grounds. They've gone on everything from saying that Purnesh Modi was politically motivated to that witness was not fit to it was excessive, to jurisdiction, to Modi is not a community, so then how can they be defamed? So they've gone into a lot of detail. It's not only on procedural lapses.
I am quoting, if I remember, I'm sorry, if I remember the name correctly, Mr. Panwala or something, the name of the lawyer who's representing him. He is the gentleman who has quoted this, that primarily this is on procedural.
No, I'm talking after reading the petition today. There's a 45-page petition. So I'm speaking after reading the petition, and we've attempted to, bring it down simply for our viewers. They're going into a whole host of sort of reasons, and procedural lapses are part of it. There are many parts of it.
So even
they're even going to the extent of saying you've not legally proved he said what you're saying he said. The way the pen drive was used, etc. It's a very detailed sort of petition, and it'll have to go through its legal process. But very quickly, Sanjay Hegde wanted to respond to you. Yes.
No, I just wanted to respond to this thing that because the court said it is holy, it can't be touched. Mr. Tayal, I recommend that you go onto YouTube and watch a video of the late lamented General Ziaul Haq defending the court verdict against Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. That was where court proceedings were taken to an extreme. We don't take it to that extreme. But the same kind of language that you use was used by Ziaul Haq. And you see, courts can get things wrong. The Supreme Court of India upheld 377. Then the Supreme Court of India said, no, we've got it wrong, and overturned its verdict. So please, this is a magistrate's court in Surat, which has taken the defamation law to its extreme and imposed a sentence of 2 years, where even a sentence of 1 year, 11 months, and 29 days would not have disqualified the man. So there is much to be said about that.
So what is very interesting, Tamanna, what is very interesting, which I find is that anybody and everybody who defends the Congress suddenly finds friends in Pakistan. Right from the time of Mani Shankar Iyer, where he went and said, kindly come and help me oust Mr. Modi. I don't know why is it that no friends can be found anywhere else but in Pakistan. Thank you so much for your input, Mr. Hegde.
I was telling you that you look exactly like what Ziaul Haq looked like. I don't count him as my friend.
You are rather a polite person, Mr. Hegde. I will not comment on your demeanor anyway. Because
okay, one minute. Let's stay on track. Gentlemen, please let's stay on track. Please let's stay on track. Okay, we're talking about a case in an Indian court and something which has become central to Indian politics just months before the next general election. Is this going to be a political issue? Is this going to galvanize the opposition? And is this going to become sort of a flag that the opposition is bearing, that look what they are doing to us? They are attacking us, the opposition, equals to attacking democracy. That's the narrative, that's the story. Tehseen, that's the story that is being pushed down there. Now, my question to you is, someone might turn around and ask that Rahul Gandhi being taken to court and being handed down a conviction, why should that mean an attack on Indian democracy?
Because in a political sphere, you don't see things in isolation. You see them in totality. And the totality of the cases are that in ED, and I'm quoting from the Honorable Home Minister's data, out of the 121 raids done by the Enforcement Directorate, 115 was on the opposition, just 6 on BJP and its allies. Out of the 115 done by the CBI, stunning 103 were on the opposition, just 4 or 5 on the BJP and its allies. More importantly, the same court which the BJP leader on your show, Mr. Tayal, is talking, and rightly so, he said the courts must be respected. The same Supreme Court, in writing in its judgment, said the ED director's tenure would not be extended. And lo behold, 12 members of the opposition were suspended, and the ED director got an extension, as if there is nobody else in this country, in this vast, great country, to head the ED, to head the organization. So you have to see it in totality of what's happening. When you say that Rahul Gandhi's conviction was in a court of law, everybody agrees to it. Therefore, he's appealing to a higher court. But the fact of the matter is, those who complained against Rahul Gandhi had no locus, were ex-BJP MLAs or a sitting BJP union minister in Bihar, and they have done this with the sole purpose to harass Rahul Gandhi. Again, cannot be looked in isolation. When Rahul Gandhi came back, and I
Okay.
remember joining you, Tamanna, one line where he came back, and I remember joining you, Tamanna, on the show, the BJP ministers who attacked him in Parliament did not allow him to speak in Parliament. His speech in Parliament was expunged. It clearly shows that the BJP is rattled by what the opposition getting together, is rattled by Rahul Gandhi. And
Tehseen, can I ask you a
it's
serious
pattern that the
question? I know
BJP is
Karan
for.
wants to respond, but Tehseen, can I ask you a serious question?
I have
when you
one
come
line.
and say, okay, I'll come to you as well, Mr. Hegde. When you come and say that the BJP is getting rattled by the opposition, rattled based on what? Are they losing
When-
elections? Is the opposition or
That's a
opposition
great
parties
question.
sweeping
That's a question
anything?
that's a great question that you've asked. And the more you concentrate powers which go unchecked, for example, when you overturn a Supreme Court judgment that an ED director's tenure won't be extended, the more you've seen authoritarian regimes get insecure. This is truly an authoritarian regime getting insecure. If people are going to be arrested for putting up posters, Modi Hatao, Desh Bachao, it is a regime that's getting insecure. And that is the nature of power. The more
Are
power
we
you
seeing
get, the more
insecurity?
insecure
Your
you get.
response?
It is insecure.
Yeah, can I answer?
Yes, Karan.
You know, Tamanna, what is authoritarian? Authoritarian is when sedition charges are pressed against an individual in Chhattisgarh for complaining about frequent electricity disruptions. That is what happened in the Congress-ruled Chhattisgarh government just recently, just 2 years back. That is what you call authoritarianism. When a professor forwards a cartoon in West Bengal from Jadavpur University, I'm talking about Professor Mahapatra, and he's put in prison for 10 years, and the 11th year he's acquitted, and he says, can anyone return me my 10 years? And Rahul Gandhi doesn't raise a single voice against this, what happened under the Mamata government. That is authoritarianism. So, waxing eloquent about authoritarianism being happening under the
Karan,
Modi
are you saying
government,
authoritarian things
with
happen only
people.
in non-BJP states? 1 minute. If it happens in a non-BJP state, it's authoritarian, and whatever happens in BJP ruled states is completely fine.
No, I am saying that, we have to find a sense of balance. If you're going to say that all non-BJP states are practicing democracy in its most pristine form, that is also a false statement. Only if you address an issue on its merit will people connect with you. And when Tehseen says that, 95% of the cases under ED are happening against the opposition, even before the BJP came to power in 2014, most of the corruption cases were happening against the Congress. Things haven't changed. Then also the Congress was the party which had a lot of skeletons in its closet.
Quick response to Sanjay Hegde. Quick response to Sanjay Hegde. Mr. Hegde, has the legal process now sort of gone into the background? The legal process will go on as it will. Now, whether it's overturned or not remains to be seen. But the politics of it has taken center stage.
The legal process will go on in its own way. And politics, of course, has taken center stage. Now, I just wanted to tell you why I believe I'm not a Congress voter, but I definitely am not a BJP voter. Let's put it that way. But what I see as a danger for this country is that every single institution is being hollowed out. There are client men which are being put there. There are people who will jump to comply. And if you have a country without an opposition, you cannot call it democracy. Unfortunately, we no longer have a system where you have political adversaries, you have political enemies. And finally, the Indian people elect leaders. Right now, we have people who think they have been elected to be emperors for the next 50 years. And they say it.
Mr. Tayal, your response.
Can I come in
That's
here?
that's a strong statement. We should have a response. Yes, Mr. Tayal.
So one, it is very interesting to hear about authoritarianism from somebody who earlier was speaking of Tilak, but conveniently forgot the authoritarianism of Mrs. Gandhi, although Mr. Hegde referred to her and the emergency. So that was conveniently forgotten. Possibly they want to disown her. That's fine for us. The second part, where there is corruption, there has been trillions of rupees of corruption. Obviously, there are going to be investigations and they have been going on for long. The other part which has been raised by Mr. Hegde also, and has been raised earlier by Mr. Gandhi, saying the judiciary, the press, the election commission, everything has been, taken over by the central government or by BJP. Now, let us come to that. If the judiciary had been taken over, he would not have got bail today. So judiciary in India ought to be respected, and it is free as it is.
Okay.
Right? So let us be very clear on that. Two, the election commission. He has accused election commission also. No, I'm taking up you say the institutions have been taken over. I'm talking about the larger institutions. If the election commission was like that, Congress would not have won Himachal. Also, here I would want to point out, and this was on the 7th of May, 2019, that a memorandum was given. This was at the election time. A memorandum was given by Bhupinder Yadav, Sanjay Mayuk, all of them, about the utterings of Mr. Rahul Gandhi to the election commission against the code of conduct, against his behavior.
Can we close the point, please, Mr. Tayal? Can you come to the point?
The point is, election commission paid no heed to it. Election commission paid no heed to that memorandum. So what institutions have been taken over? I don't know. These are pure false accusations. And I think we need
accusations that this is an authoritarian regime. Well, nevertheless, the fact is that the opposition is more united than it was a few months ago over this disqualification.
Tamanna.
Is that going to make a difference or not is the question. I'm absolutely out of time. Tehseen, Karan, I'm absolutely out of time.
Just one line.
I can't. Then if I give it to Karan, I have to give it to Tehseen as well. So I'm going to be fair and take a break. I'm really over. Very quick break, but thank you. Thank you to all of you for joining us. If you feel like having lemonade after this show, I don't blame you. But we'll take a very short break. On the other side, the political slugfest over the